So in your experience, if you had to summarize, what are the three things that older adults today most need to hear, or are recurring issues that you hear?
That they need to hear or that pastors need to hear? Which one? You can do it either way, I guess.
Let's do both, and you choose which one you want to do
Okay.
first.
Well, one thing that I think professionals need to really be aware of, okay, is to not see older people as wearing an invisibility cloak, because many times older people are, they feel unimportant, irrelevant, and that people even look through them. And also something that actually my mother taught me at a young age, she would say, Paula, never assume you can call a person by their first name. When I was in my 20s, she told me that, and I always remembered that and respected that. And automatically, when people start calling you honey and sweetie and this stuff, and there's a term for that, it's called elder speak. Mm-hmm. And so professionals are as guilty of that as sometimes service people are, and we need to be aware that that is not cool. Do not do that. And not only are people oftentimes seen as invisible, but they're not heard.
Yeah.
That their ideas are not that important. So really showing respect for words and paying attention to older people, I think, is very important for all professionals in all walks of life. The other thing is that as professionals as pastors, you have a lot of contact with older people, realize that although the majority are resilient, the majority do not have clinical depression. That is true. However, there's a certain proportion who have addiction problems, who are suicide risks, and who experience elder maltreatment at home. And I'm involved on a national level with some of groups, committees by the federal government, actually, to look at screening for elder maltreatment and depression. So understanding, as professionals, understanding some of the risk factors for suicide is pretty important, because we do know that, and a lot of people don't know this, that the portion of the population that have the greatest number of completed suicides, okay, are white men age 85 and older.
Yeah.
So that's pretty astounding to a lot of people. And so when people, when parishioners talk about wanting to die, talk about their firearms, having access to lethal weapons is a big problem. That's a risk factor in some parts of this country. I've spoken in North Carolina a couple years ago and to county commissioners, and they didn't want to hear that. Well, too bad. I mean, this is truth. that having access to lethal weapons makes it more likely that for very depressed people that they're going to harm themselves. So take it seriously, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Take it seriously.